Hello, everyone. Okay, so now that I'm more comfortable doing this, I'm starting to realize that even though in the beginning it was super intimidating because the whole different sort of system than classroom teaching, but the more I get classes done, and I've done, I don't know, probably about 250 about now. So I'm still, not, I don't have thousands of classes under my belt or anything, but the more I realize that a lot of the little life hacks or tricks or whatever that I used when I was a classroom teacher still do apply. And the more I start to implement those things, the easier things are getting. And so I wanted to share a couple of them with you. Some of them are stuff you probably already do, some of them are things that you don't care about, but I figured I'd record this anyways. But okay, so first thing is, and I did this when I taught public school or school, um, is I'm not a morning person, and so I always had to get up way before I wanted to. Even just classroom teaching, I still had to get up around 5, and it was awful. So I've been doing this for a decade, and what I do is I put an alarm clock in the other corner of my room, the one that makes the most horrible noise, so that I'm forced to get up and get out of bed to go turn it off. And by the time I've done that, it's like, I'm up. It's not worth getting back in bed for. And the reason I do that is because, my husband and I both use our phones as our alarm, and I have it next to me, in the bed. The problem is that no matter what sound I put it on, I manage to incorporate that sound into my dream. And therefore, it does not wake me up. And it's so funny because last night this happened, or this morning this happened, and it's perfect timing. I had a horrible dream last night that our house, okay, it was really random, but anyway, a friend of mine, he was like underground, and apparently we lived on top of some like Subway restaurant or something, not Subway the brand, but like a subway system, which is ridiculous because we live like in the suburbs in Arkansas. But anyway, and so something happened and the flood started coming up, and there was like tsunami waves coming on our house, and I looked out our window and it was water on both sides of the window. And so my husband and I were like praying with our kids and like kind of preparing for our last moments on earth. And anyway, so my alarm started going off, and in my dream it is like an emergency alarm in our house starting to go off. And so in my dream we're like, oh, the alarms, we need to do this or that. I slept right through this, and I set this 10 minutes before my other alarm started to go off. And so then when the regular alarm started to go off, I knew I had to get up. It woke me up. So anyways, that's my morning hack number 1. The second thing is, and this is true for, if you've been a classroom teacher, you know that your life becomes a lot easier when you leave for the night with everything set up for the next morning. And so that is what I do. I've had enough stressful mornings getting to school early, especially I taught science. And so I always had to get labs set up and all stuff. And the mornings become incredibly stressful when I don't do it ahead of time. So I do the same thing now. If I need a whiteboard, I get it all prepared. So like the place value lesson, I have this all set up and ready to go so that I just grab the board. And then in the class after that, was the, cop, fop, hop thing. So I have all the letters already done, so I can just grab it. So that's done. And in the other video, I showed you guys how I make individual tubs, little tins for each class with the time on it. I do that ahead of time. And in the morning, then I lay out everything that's not specific to a class, that just things I grab, the this and the these and the these and the, make sure I have my whiteboard marker, because otherwise I'm going, where's my whiteboard marker? Just a second, So I have my whiteboard marker, and a couple of different, just little things that I grab randomly that aren't specific to a class. The other thing I do now, mostly now I have regulars. In the first, week, it was mostly trials that they give you. And so now it's not so much anymore. I only maybe do a trial or two a week. But what I did was I made up cards labeled, trial level 2 unit 4, and I made a list of the supplies I need for that trial class. And so here's for trial, level 2. So I have all these little cards, and I kind of stuck them over in the corner so that when I'm getting ready for a trial class, I don't even have to think about it. I just grab what's on the card and I know I'm ready. Um, and then, okay, the other thing as far as waking up, I discovered that, well, first of all, I know there's been discussions in the forum about, makeup or not makeup. And, I think it's to each his own kind of a thing. But I know for me, I definitely like having makeup on and being able to feel like fresh and ready for the day. And so, but usually by 8 o'clock, I don't want to, I want to wash it off because I don't want to, clean house or whatever during the day with makeup on. I don't like that, my skin will break out and stuff. So I used Mary Kay, and I was using up so much makeup. And so anyway, one of the things that I thought of, and so I don't know if you wear makeup every morning for teaching, it's almost like costume makeup, I just went to the Walmart or Target or whatever, and I just bought a bunch of cheap stuff because I'm just sitting here. It's not rubbing off. And that way I can use as much as I want, and I don't feel bad about using up my expensive makeup. Well, not expensive, but my nice makeup. Okay, so that's the other thing. And then one thing that I do is I have discovered, and this is something new to this teaching online, because when I was going to the classroom, the mornings were just a mad rush. Now I wake up early enough and I go in my closet. If you haven't seen my closet classroom tour, it's on my YouTube channel. I go into my classroom early enough where while I'm doing the makeup, I put on from Hulu the Jimmy Fallon from the night before. Now, I'm usually very conservative in what I watch. We don't watch a lot of, TV, and we don't watch a lot of reality TV and whatever. I'm sort of a geeky documentary type girl, but I have discovered that watching Jimmy Fallon, at least like the first 20 minutes where he does all his, it's funny, and it makes me happy, and it gives me like the good mood that I need to get started. So, before I start class, I have, checked in on the classroom to make sure my camera's working. I have, and I'm watching Jimmy Fallon while I put on my makeup. And then I go through several of these, which, I do the Coke Zero ones, so I'm not getting, all the sugar, but I don't know. I'm sort of addicted to Coke Zero. And then, trying to think what else I have listed here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a ton of things that I know that there are other videos about, how to wake up and all of that. And I love all those suggestions and ideas. So, if you're looking for ways to, I don't know, maintain your morning or whatever, there's lots of videos and stuff, but I just wanted to take a minute to share mine. Oh, and the other thing I do is now, like I said, mostly I have regulars now, so I know the ages and who and how to rotate the reward systems. But if it's a student I don't know or I cannot remember because I have, 4 Amy's, and I can't remember which Amy's which, I get my reward system set up. So like one of my reward systems is these gold coins. I'll take all the gold coins off the board, get them ready. Another one for my little ones or a trial class is my, make a face type thing. Okay, one of the foamy things I like. Since I was told we can't use the Mr. Potato Head, so I sort of made this foamy thing. So I'll take all the pieces off and get them ready. Another one I have is this little, spinny thing. Spinny thing. How can I spin in the thing? Okay. So I just get everything ready so that whatever I need, I can grab. So I guess that's the point. And just like teaching in a classroom, you have your lesson plans, you get set up the night before, your life becomes a lot easier. So anyways, I don't know. I don't know if you even made it through this whole video, but if you did, awesome. Check out my other videos and subscribe. Oh, and the other thing I do that is fun, and you might do this too, but the kids seem to love it. It's so simple, and I don't know. And you know what? After 10 years of teaching 14-year-olds, I have noticed that the randomest things get them excited. And it's so funny because things come up and it's like they're 14. They're like mostly too cool for school. But there's just these things that you learn as a teacher that they just love it. Well, I discovered that when I give the kid a star, I hold up this thing, or sometimes I'm like, star, or like, woo, woo, whatever. I don't know. I have this big gold star and they love it. Or I go like this. I slide it across. You get a star, or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, so, okay. Thanks if you actually watched this whole thing. Okay. Bye, everyone.